Henry Kissinger said, "For some, Putin is a problem," and what he said about war and whether there will be peace. Let's remember yesterday I uploaded a video concerning what the chief rabbi of Russia said, Rabbi Lazar, that Putin grew up in a Jewish family and he was supported by the Jews of Russia, and that's how he got into power. And I was shocked. He also said that Kissinger was his mentor. So Henry Kissinger, was Putin's mentor. So Vladimir Putin is a problem, Kissinger says. Its placement always hides background bites. International diplomat and former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger praised renewed talks between the U.S. and China at a summit in Bali, but said there was a long way to go to avoid a clash between the world's biggest economies, citing Russia and Putin in the war in Ukraine. The 99-year-old globalist, yeah, he's alive and he's 99 years old now. The 99-year-old globalist said Monday's meeting between President Joe Biden and Xi Jinping sparked a bridged effort in the U.S.-China relationship, including restarting cooperation in areas such as allegedly climate change and global economy. Speaking to the Bloomberg agency, Kissinger emphasized that the meetings between Biden and Xi Jinping of China broke the barrier of silence that prevailed for months between the two leaders on the ground of bad relations between the U.S. and China, especially after the events in Taiwan, but also a technological and trade war raging between the world's two most powerful economies. Kissinger believes that the real danger of a global conflict and destruction can be avoided through dialogue with China and avoid the hegemony of Beijing. He said careful politics and honest discussions will have to be followed, but at least the door has been opened, end quote. This is what Kissinger said of the results of the G20 meeting, adding that the climate of dialogue is something Southeast Asian nations have been asking for and will also favor, which else Singapore as a typical example. No one wants rulers in the wider region, pointed out Kissinger, meaning that the new international order of things does not want strong forces in order to impose itself on all other states nearby. Referring to China, of course. Now, the Putin factor. Referring to the war in Europe, the former diplomat Kissinger said countries should focus on what their long-term goals are with Ukraine and Russia and not be distracted by short-term events. But he expressed reservations about what the Russian president would agree to, saying, quote, "There's no doubt that for some people, Vladimir Putin is an obstacle to that vision," end quote, referring to a peace plan. In other words, Putin, although he has shown a willingness to cooperate so far, still makes the internationalists feel uncertain and insecure, let alone the people around him, Medvedev, Russian establishment, etc. The former U.S. official, Kissinger, of course, the former U.S. official said this could only end if Ukraine was able to keep its independence and what? Borders intact, protected by a close relationship with Europe. He acknowledged, however, that dialogue with Russia at this stage is very difficult. Other highlights of his speech include, he said it would be more difficult to achieve peace with Russia than with China because the basis of a conceptual dialogue, he said, has not yet been laid. He emphasized that Germany's direction will be decisive within Europe and called on the country's leadership to implement policies that lead to a fusion of existing capabilities. And this is from a Greek article, l.gr. I've translated for you. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.